Namaste and welcome to Hatha Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and for today's heart opening, shoulders and extension for the physical practice, you'll want to have 2 blocks and a strap, definitely a strap. So let's start in hero's pose if that feels appropriate in your body. We had a request to also offer some release for the lower back tension and to open up the fronts of the thighs, the quadriceps, which will go along well with our back bends. So if you find that your knees don't want to bend as deeply, you can put a block or 2 to sit on right between your ankles. Make sure that your feet are neither turned out or turned in. Tops of your feet are flat on the ground. Here's a quote from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. This strikes the chord with the second limb of yoga, where we have the practice, the personal practice called satya. And it's translated as truthfulness, being honest. So with that, I prompt you with this food for thought for today's practice. In what ways can self-honesty free you to live wholeheartedly? In what ways can self-honesty free you to live wholeheartedly? And we can start little by little in the physical body as we're really tuning into what's present and responding within how we approach or vary postures or asanas. How are we being honest with ourselves in our day-to-day lives? Let's start by checking in. Without any need to label anything that you observe as good or bad, let's bring mindful attention to your physical body. Noticing the different sensations in your legs, in your pelvis, in your torso, all over. So gathering your physical state of being as you begin your physical yoga, how will you honor what's present here and add what you need in your practice to move towards the feeling of balance? Sense the way your body is naturally breathing without changing it. And through the qualities of your breath, notice how you feel energetically right now. And once again, how will this inform the way you approach your physical yoga? Welcoming balance of energy towards the end. Now bring your attention to both your mind and your heart, your mental and emotional state. You might even ask your own heart energy, what do you need from this practice today? Now let's dive a little deeper into the breath, slowly inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through your lips. Inhaling a little bit deeper. And exhaling just as slowly. Inviting longer breaths without straining. Call to mind anything that you appreciate in this moment. And with gratitude, enlivening your creative energy, clarify what you are inviting into your experience through this yoga practice, setting your intention or sankalpa. And as a way to offer up our efforts, stepping outside of our ego minds, I invite you to choose somebody to dedicate today's practice to. And with that, let's set our intentions and dedications while creating resonance as we share our practice by chanting Om 3 times. And with slow, even inhales and exhales through the nose, let's begin practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breathing, to help focus our minds, calm our bodies, and balance our energy. So as you do that, closing the lips, gently narrow the back of your throat and create a soft whispering sound to your breath. So that sound serves as an anchor for your mind. As you listen to the sound intentionally, and as you balance and slow down the breath intentionally, you're helping yourself to be embodied in your presence. And so with that, we're going to actually start standing up. You may want to have your blocks in front of the top of your mat like this, on their tallest height, shoulders distance apart. Please bring your strap as you rise to stand at the top of your mat, feet hips distance, parallel. And we're going to start to warm up the shoulders for our shoulder opening, back bending, shoulders and extension physical practice. So take hold of the strap where your hands are holding the strap tautly, not loosely, wider apart than your shoulders distance. If you're feeling pretty tight in the shoulders, go generously wider so that you can keep your arms straight and your shoulders relaxed. And as you stand tall, sealing in the bottom of your front ribs, we're going to start to move the arms to the breath. So arms staying straight. You can adjust the distance between your hands and the strap as you need. Inhale, raise your arms overhead. Keep the shoulders down, the front ribs in. Exhale, extend the arms behind you and down. Inhale, raise the arms all the way up. Exhale, forward and down. And that's it. Let's keep going for about 8 to 10 more breaths. And if you find that your shoulders are loosening up, you might add the challenge of stepping the hands a little closer together, just making sure the strap is taut, the arms are straight, the shoulders stay down and relaxed away from the ears. And as you raise your arms, you're consciously sealing in the bottom of your front ribs so as to not overarch or compress your lower back. Listening to your Ujjayi breathing. Take the full length of each in breath to lift up and each out breath to lower. Maybe close the eyes for the last few breaths and really pay attention to the sensations along your shoulders, chest, and neck. And then from here, let's bring the strap behind us so that your hands are holding the strap with your thumbs pointing away from your midline. And space the hands apart enough where you can lift your hands at least a foot away from your lower back, maybe even more. Now, some of you, if you can do that with your hands clasped, you can go ahead and put the strap down and interlace the fingers. As you breathe in, roll the shoulders back, bringing them into extension, broadening your chest. And as you breathe out, bend your knees generously and engage your abdomen as you fold forward slowly, dropping your head, relax your neck. Now let's be here for about 5 breaths in this forward fold while keeping the hands together or holding the strap. Stretch the arms further away from your lower back and lift your shoulder bones up and away from your neck. Let your head hang as freely as possible. You might even shake and nod your head a few times. If you have any tension in the back of your body, bend your knees as much as you need, and you can also fold less deeply. Try to eliminate rounding the back. Then plant your fingertips either on your shins or your blocks or the floor. Pressing firmly, inhale, lengthen your spine forward about parallel to the ground. Glide the shoulder blades down your back. Firm your belly in towards the spine. Keep that and exhale, fold a little more. Tuning to the breath, press with your hands again. Inhale, lengthen forward into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale again, fold into Uttanasana. This time, press firmly through your feet and inhale, slowly rise, raising the arms overhead, drawing your shoulders behind you and down, tilt your chest and gaze up in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, join your hands in prayer down to your heart center in Padasana. Center again on your intention, what you're cultivating through this practice. And saluting the sun, the source of the energy, with gratitude. Let's begin sun salutation C, Surya Namaskar C. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, gently coil your chest up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, feel free to bend the knees and fold. Plant your fingertips outside your heels. Inhale, step your left knee behind you into a kneeling lunge and gaze up. While holding your breath, step into plank pose, top of a push-up. As you exhale, first lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward onto your belly and draw the shoulders back to Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, press down with your hands and lift the hips to Downward Dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your right knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise to the top, lifting your heart towards the sun. Exhale, marry your palms at your heart center. One more, side 2. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Lower your fingertips. Inhale, step the right knee back, Anjaneyasana. Hold the breath as you step to plank. Exhale, Ashtangasana, lower knees, chest and chin, firming the belly in as you stick the tailbone up. Inhale, slither forward into Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Exhale, lift the hips back to Downward Dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your left knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, root down to rise. Exhale, join your palms at your heart. Let's keep warming up. Sun salutation A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Press with your hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step into plank pose, and as you engage your belly, exhale, glide forward and graze your elbows by your ribs, lowering through Chaturanga all the way down. From down through the tops of your feet, inhale to Cobra again, Bhujangasana. Tuck your toes, engage your belly, and exhale, press up to plank. Then lift the hips, downward facing dog. Let your body be still as you steady your gaze for 3 deep breaths. Spreading your fingers flat, lifting your hips high and back, firm in the belly, and let the heels drop deeper and deeper towards the ground. When you've emptied your 3rd exhalation, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, or hands at the heart in Padasana. Let's try one more. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank and lower through Chaturanga, or float gently to Chaturanga and continue to Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, Downward Dog. Let's pause in stillness as you recalibrate your breath. 3 cycles. After the 3rd, walk or float to the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana. Moving on to Surya Namaskar B. With your feet touching each other, inhale, bend your knees into chair, knees touching each other. Lean back towards your heels, then exhale, shift forward to fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank or float to Chaturanga. Take it through your vinyasa on your own. Now from downward dog, keep your hips leveled in height and inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, gently step the foot beside your right thumb and spin your left heel down. Inhale, rise to stand in Warrior One. Then ride your exhalation down into Chaturanga and finish your vinyasa. Second side with hips even, inhale, raise left leg back. Exhale the foot beside left thumb, spin right heel down. Inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, vinyasa. Downward dog, pause, slowing down 3 cycles of breath. When you finish the 3rd, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale to rise. Last, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float, take it through your vinyasa. Follow your breath. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise, Warrior One. Exhale, lower, vinyasa. Keep going to side 2 on your own. Downward dog, pause to rebalance the breath in and out, 3 cycles or more. If you need to rest, you can lower to child's pose or any resting position that works for you. Remember, how are you honoring your truth and what you're feeling in your body in this moment? If you're ready to wrap up the salutation, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, hands to the heart in mountain pose. And just pause here for a couple of breaths. Tune in. How does your energy feel now in this part of your practice? And how will that inform how you continue forward? Let's step the feet apart a little wider than hips distance and bring your hands to your hips. Make sure your feet are parallel to each other. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, hinge from your hips and feel free to bend the knees so that you're creating more of a flat back. Padahastasana, let's stretch the outer wrists, lifting your toes. Slip your palms face up underneath the soles of your feet. Try to get your toes to meet the inner creases of your wrists. As you keep the hands under, breathe in and press your heart through the gates of your arms. Then exhale, bow from the hips and drop your head freely. Now, if it's available, as we stay here a little longer, bend the elbows apart and float your shoulders away from the neck as you drop the head more easily. Maybe even shaking and nodding the head or helping to loose the jaw by fluttering the lips a few times. And at this point, depending on how you're feeling in your body, choose to either step back to downward dog, flow through a vinyasa first, or take a few cat-cows on hands and knees before you get there. When you arrive in Adho Mukha Svanasana, once again, spread your thumbs flat towards each other, stretch the index fingers forward, and draw your shoulders and hips back. Keeping your hips leveled, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Now, as you exhale, bend the right knee towards your nose, contract your abdomen, and shift forward, rounding in plank pose. Then quietly as you can, step your right foot beside your right thumb and separate your feet hips distance apart, parallel. Stay high on the ball of your left foot and energetically drag your feet towards each other so they're not visibly moving. You're just creating that muscular engagement to stabilize your balance as you rise to crescent lunge. Here, find stability at your center by drawing your tailbone down. That might entail bending the left knee, squaring both hips to equally face forward, and slightly lifting your frontal hip bones. And as you raise the arms straight, relax the shoulders, steadying your gaze. Another 3 breaths. Spinning your left heel down, align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot and open your arms into Warrior Two. As you bend the right knee directly above the heel, firm the outer edge of your left foot into the earth. While rotating your right outer hip beneath you, firm the top of your left thigh bone back towards you. Steadying your gaze just past your right fingertips, tune into another 3 deep breaths. Virabhadrasana 2. Now, as we prepare for bound side angle pose, I invite you to grab your strap. Keep the legs in Warrior Two, maybe slightly shorter stance. And take the strap in your left hand, let the long tail wrap behind you and dangle on the right side of your right thigh. Now, as you keep the front knee bent, glide your hips towards the rear edge of your mat and lengthen your torso towards the front. Bring the right arm to the inner side of your right thigh to catch hold of the bottom end of the strap. Now, walking your hands as close together as you can, keep drawing your right hip crease back towards your left heel while lengthening your torso forward. Now, the purpose of binding here is to open up that left shoulder, bringing it into extension to broaden the chest. So invite your chest to spin slightly towards the sky. Draw both shoulders down your back. Now, for those of you that can reach without bowing forward or compressing the lower back, you might clasp your hands instead of holding the strap, or hold on to your right wrist or left wrist. Now let's tune into 3 more breaths here in Baddha Parsvakonasana, bound side angle pose. Now gaze at the ground ahead of your right foot. Place the right hand on a block or the floor, upper right corner from your right pinky toe, about 6 inches forward. We're moving into half moon pose. With the left hand on your left hip, flex the left foot off the ground and find stability first. Draw the right hip back, lengthen the torso forward, relax the shoulders. Feel the stability in your breath. Then from here, see if it's available for you to move into Chapasana, where you bend your left knee towards your belly. Then with your left hand, you reach to catch the top of your left foot or ankle. And as your left foot kicks away towards the rear wall, you're pulling the foot towards your glute, thus opening the front of the left shoulder into extension again. Engage the belly, steady your eyes. If that's not available, you can straighten the left leg and move into traditional half moon pose. Let's tune into 3 more breaths. Now with your left leg straight, on a slow exhalation, step back into Warrior 2. Deep breath in Warrior 2. Exhale your hands to the floor, downward facing dog. In downward dog, keeping your hips leveled, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend your left knee high towards your nose, coming forward to stack shoulders over wrists. Softly step the foot beside left thumb. With your feet hips width apart and parallel, come up high in the ball of your right foot. Isometrically drag your feet towards each other, rooting down to rise, crescent lunge. Direct your tailbone downward as you slightly lift your frontal hip bones, squaring your hips to face the front. Let your eyes steady, relaxing the muscles of your eyes. 3 more breaths. Spin your right heel down. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot, opening your arms into Warrior 2. As you steady your gaze, just pass your left hand and steady your breath. Bend your left knee right above your left heel and firm the outer edge of your right foot into the ground. Rotate your left sitting bone beneath you and firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Virabhadrasana 2. Now take your strap and let's prepare for bound side angle pose. You might slightly shorten your stance. Keep your legs in Warrior 2. Hold the strap in your right hand and dangle the long tail behind your back and to the left of your left thigh. Glide your left hip crease back towards your right outer heel as you lengthen your torso towards the front wall. Bring your left arm on the inner side of your left thigh to catch hold of the bottom end of the strap. Then walking your hands closer together, spin your chest slightly to face the sky, finding just the amount where your hands might meet to clasp. You might hold the right wrist or you might hold the strap, where you're not straining the lower back. You're leaning back rather than bowing forward. Baddha Parsvakonasana. Gaze just ahead of your left foot. Ardha Chandrasana, place the left hand upper left corner of that foot. Drag the right foot in. Flex it off the ground. Find stability in half moon. And if available, start to move into Ardha Chandra Chapasana, where you bend the right knee towards your belly. Catch the top of the right foot or ankle with the right hand. Kick the foot towards the rear wall as you pull the foot towards your glute, drawing the right shoulder back in extension and steadying your gaze. Otherwise, traditional half moon with right leg straight. Those of you in Chapasana, you'll notice that you're opening up the front of your right thigh, stretching your quadricep as well. Now, the slow exhalation, start with the right leg straight. Gently step into Warrior Two again. Deep inhale. Exhale, lower your hands. Let's meet in downward facing dog. And downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg back. Keep the hips leveled. Again, exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Quietly land the foot beside your right thumb and step the right foot beside it. Left knee down. Inhale, raise the arms. This time, let's prepare for a kneeling lunge spinal twist. So make sure that your left hip is right above your left knee. Your right knee is right above your right ankle, and your legs are hips width apart. Then bring the strength of stability with a feeling as if you're dragging your legs towards each other. Lift your pelvic floor. With your right hand, cup the top of your right thigh, firming this right leg still. Raise the left arm and inhale, lengthen your spine down the midline of your mat. As you balance the two hips, exhale, rotate your ribcage to the right. See if it's available to hook the left elbow outside your right thigh and either join your hands in prayer, open the arms, or bind. If it's not available, you can place the left hand on a block or the floor on the inside of your right leg, directly under your left shoulder, and raise the right arm up. In either case, you could also choose to lift the left knee and come up high on the ball of your left foot into a high lunge. This is a variation of twisting side angle pose, Parita Parshvakonasana. Let your shoulders move down the back as you broaden your chest, tuning into another 3 breaths. Now stay in your twist and look at your right foot. Then lower your hands to the inside of your right foot. Scoot the right foot to the right about 4 or 5 more inches, coming into lizard lunge. So in this version, I invite you to keep the right foot flat on the floor. Keep the right knee and toes pointing forward. You can decide to place your hands on blocks if that allows you to breathe more easily with the shoulders relaxed. You can decide to scoot the left knee back, bend it, and bring a stretch to the left quadricep by backstroking the right arm, catching the left foot with the right hand, and gently bringing that foot towards your glutes. If it's available, you could also come down onto your forearms or your left forearm if you're holding the back foot. Remember to keep that right foot flat on the floor, hug the right knee close to your right shoulder, draw both shoulders down the back, and let's tune in for 4 more deep breaths. Release your back leg, and let's step into downward facing dog. With hips squared, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Step the foot softly beside left thumb. Lower the right knee and rise. Let's set up for the twist, making sure right hip is right above right knee, left knee is right above left ankle, and your legs are hips width apart. Isometrically drag the feet towards each other. Use the left hand to cup the top of your left thigh down. Raise the right arm and inhale, lengthen your spine forward. At your waistline, not at your hips, twist to the left in the same way as you did on the first side. So use a block or a right hand on the inside of the leg or hook the elbow outside the thigh. Keeping your hips leveled, you might lift the back knee and come into a high lunge version of this. Parita Parshvakonasana, twisting side angle pose. Last 3 breaths. Stay in your twist and look down at your left foot. Then gently lower your hands both on the right side of that foot. Scoot your left foot a few inches to the left and see if you can practice the same variation of the posture as you did on the first side, though the depth might be different as you're listening to your body here. You might scoot the right knee back. You might backstroke the left arm to bring the right foot towards you. Remember in this version of lizard lunge to keep the left foot entirely on the ground with your left knee and toes facing forward. Bring your left knee towards your left shoulder. 4 more deep breaths. Release the back leg, and this time tuck your right toes and step forward to the top of your mats. Grab a strap and bring your hands to your hips. Inhale to rise. So now let's come into standing bow as we continue with bringing the shoulders into extension and back bends. As you start in mountain pose, take the loop of your strap. If there is no loop, you can step this into the center of the strap and place the ball of your right foot into it. Hold the strap in your right hand. Turn the right palm to face up so your right elbow is bent towards your right hip. And then place your left hand on your left hip. Now, as you're standing with 2 feet on the ground, feet parallel, notice your frontal hip bones equally facing the front of your room. Try to keep that. Don't want to turn out this right leg. Keep the hips squared, and then start to activate your lower belly where you're slightly lifting your frontal hip bones and directing your tailbone down. You want to keep that in the posture as well. Now, steady your eyes, steady your breath. Bend your right knee to hug your left knee and slide your right hand as close to your right foot as possible. Those of you that can hold the inside of the right foot or ankle while hugging the knees close together and dropping the tailbone towards between the knees, then you can let go of the strap and use your hand. Now, as you kick your right foot into the strap of your hand, pull with the right hand and lift your heart space. Raise the left arm up and use the counter forces of kicking and pulling with the right foot and right hand to counteract bowing forward just enough to lift your heart. Dancer pose, Natarajasana, also called standing bow. Let's tune into another 3 breaths. Remember to keep your hips both facing forward here. Let the back bend initiate right under the shoulder blades, not in the lower back. Slowly step the right foot down. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, fold. Take the strap if you're going to use it for side 2. And while you're down here, go ahead and step the ball of your left foot into it. Hold the strap with your left palm facing up, your left elbow bent towards your left hip, and right hand on the right hip. Steady your eyes, steady your breath. Now begin to bend left knee to hug right knee. Walk the left hand as close to the foot as possible. Again, if you can hold the inner ankle or foot, you can let go of the strap. Draw the tailbone downward towards between the knees and keep the hips facing forward evenly while kicking the left foot away. Pull it towards you, lifting your chest from right under the shoulder blades. Initiate the back bend. Raise the right arm up. Deep breaths. And then when you're ready, step the left foot beside the right. Let's bring the hands in. Lotus Mudra, activating the energy of the heart center. Inner heels of the palms touching, inner edges of thumbs and pinky fingers touching, with the other fingers blossoming open like petals. And let your thumbs rest at your sternum. You might close the eyes and tune into the energy of your heart center right now. Anahata chakra. What feels alive there? We're going to end the practice, or we're going to move towards, not end, a couple more back bends, 2 practices of camel pose or ustrasana. So come on down to your knees. And for the first of 2, I invite you to hug a block by the width that allows you to keep your knees hips distance apart. Backstroke your arms and place your hands on your lower back with toes tucked behind you. Now, as you hug the elbows closer together, feel the effect of broadening your collarbones. Continue to do that. Actively lengthen your tailbone down towards the ground between the knees and lift your back ribs. So once again, we're going to focus on bending the back right under the shoulder blades, not down here, not at the lower back. You want to elongate the lower back. So breathe in and lift your chest. Draw the shoulders back and exhale, slide the shoulder blades down right underneath them. Tilt your chest and gaze up. Breath by breath for about 5 to 7 breaths. Now, if it's reachable without straining, and you can keep the pelvis right above the knees, not behind the knees, drop one hand to hold a heel beneath it, and then switch heels, switch hands, or hold both heels. Ustrasana, camel pose. When you're ready to come out, place your hands on your lower back, engage your belly to lift your spine vertically. And then you might use that block between the ankles like we did in the beginning to sit, pause, maybe in lotus mudra, and tune in again to the energy of your heart center. You might imagine the color vibration of the heart center, which is green, glowing there at the center of your chest and upper back. This is our last active back bend. Camel pose one last time. Remember also the lungs are connected to your heart energy. So fully expanding the lungs and feeling that balance of giving and receiving through the breath. So you choose with or without the block, which adds support for the lower back. Toes tucked or flatten the tops of the feet down if you want to go further. Keep the pelvis right above your knees. And take it for 5 to 10 breaths. Ustrasana on your own. We'll meet sitting. After you've rested for a few breaths, please bring your legs in front of you and let's prepare for a seated spinal twist. Extending your left leg in front, step your right foot on the ground either in front of your right hip or crossed outside of your left knee, in which you might also bend the left knee. Choose the setup that allows you to evenly ground your sitting bones and to sit tall with the shoulders relaxed. Place your right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Raise your left arm. With each part of your body touching the ground, press into the floor and sit a little taller as you breathe in. Keeping your pelvis still, exhale, rotate your ribcage to the right and lower your left arm to hold your right leg or to hook your elbow outside of it. Each in breath, root down to rise. Each out breath, allow the twist to deepen. So this spinal twist is meant to neutralize the spine after going deep into back bends, as well as relieve tension there might be along the lower back or the rest of the spine. You might even feel a stretch in your glutes. Empty the breath unwind, and let's switch sides. Try to set up in the same way, left foot on the floor in front of the hip or crossed outside of the right knee. Maybe also bend the right knee. Left hand behind your pelvis, right arm up. Root into the ground as you inhale to rise. Exhale, twist to your left. Hold your left leg or hook your elbow outside of it. Emptying this breath, unwind your spine. And now let's straighten the legs, coming into what's often the counter pose for back bends, and that's forward fold. So separate your feet hips distance apart. You may like to use a strap as an extension of your arms by placing the strap around the balls of your feet. Flex your feet either way, ground your sitting bones, and lengthen from the bottom of your spine through the back of your head. As you relax the shoulders, keep this open space between your chin and chest, the whole posture, as well as a slight lift in your chest as you firm the belly in. Deep breath in here. And for a little bit of your range, start to hinge from your hips, pausing as you breathe in to root the pelvis down and stretch the spine through the crown. Exhaling, folding only if you can keep that little lift in the chest, the shoulders relaxed, and the open space at your throat. Now, if it's reachable without rounding the back or straining, you might clasp your big toes with your peace fingers. Let's tune into another 5 breaths here in Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Now in back bends, we engage many of the muscles of your back body, from your hamstrings, your glutes, the muscles in your back. So this posture opens up those muscles. It brings balance to all the contraction they've been doing. As you root your pelvis down, breathe in, slowly rise. So find a comfortable way to sit for a brief pranayama practice before we lower to the ground entirely. And invite you into 2 breathing practices, since breath work itself helps to activate the energy of the heart center, Anahata chakra. So we'll start with bellows breath, which can be energizing. It also helps to clean the lungs while bringing clarity of mind. And then we'll move into alternate nostril breathing. So bellows breath is breathing fully deeply through the nose, mouth is closed, where you expand the belly and the lungs. So you're using your diaphragm as deep of a breath as possible. And then you exhale through the nose just as strongly, like this. Full inhale, exhales. The arms can move if you want to add a kriya, bending the elbows apart, hands like fists. Inhale, raise the arms, spread the fingers. Exhale, bend the elbows, fist the hands. So it looks like this. I'm going to explain both breathing techniques before we start both, so that we can flow from one into the other and notice the effect. Now, after a minute of bellows breaths, and if you don't want to add the kriya of moving the arms, you can place your hands here on your side ribs. You can feel the expansion of the rib cage. Now, alternate nostril breathing goes like this. Left hand will rest on the lap, maybe in Gyan Mudra to help tune inward. Right hand, you stick out your thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. Again, we're just breathing through the nose, but in alternate nostril breathing, you want the breath to be very soft, almost quiet and sustained. We use right thumb to close right nostril like this. Right ring and pinky to close left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing. We'll be practicing 3 cycles together and then continue 2 cycles on your own. And when we're practicing either breath work, you might find it helpful to close your eyes and steady your inner gaze either at Ajna chakra, towards the center of your brain, your intuitive energy center, or Anahata chakra, towards your heart energy center, whatever's calling your attention. And so let's begin with bellows breath. I'm going to have my internal clock ready for 1 minute. Start with your elbows bent if you're going to add the Kriya. Close the eyes. 1 minute, ready, begin. And relax. Alternate nostril breathing. Left hand in Gyan Mudra. Right thumb closes right nostril. Inhale through left. Hold the breath in. Right ring and pinky close left. Exhale right nostril. Hold the breath out. Inhale through right. Hold it in. Close right. Exhale left. Hold it out. Cycle 2, inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Cycle 3, inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Continue on your own for 2 more cycles. And when you finish, sit for a few moments, letting go of controlling your breath and just noticing anything that you feel. And as you're ready, please begin to lower your body entirely onto the floor, resting, lying down in stillness with eyes closed, breath natural. You may like to turn the palms face up, slightly away from your thighs, letting your whole body relax as you stay present. Start to bring your attention back through your body, scanning and noticing how you're feeling now physically. As you keep your eyes closed, notice how your body wants to begin moving, and start there, little by little, letting the body wake up. Gradually turning over onto your right side, let your head rest. Notice the quality of your breathing now. And observe if anything feels different about your energy. And then slowly lift your body up. Find a comfortable way to sit tall, grounded, and relaxed for 5 minutes in meditation. You might opt to place your hands in lotus mudra, as we've been focusing on heart energy today, or any mudra that is calling you. Either close your eyes or steady a soft gaze, downcast. And let's begin by resting your inner gaze at your heart center, middle of your chest, middle of your upper back. And as you sense the movement of your natural breath, letting your attention to Anahata Chakra be the anchor for today's meditation. Other ways to focus on your heart energy is to visualize a glowing green light at your heart center, pulsating with the breath or your heartbeat. For those of you that are more auditory, you might silently or out loud chant repeatedly the bija mantra of your heart center. Yum, 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 yum. And as we move into the last 2 minutes of our meditation, I invite you into self-inquiry, asking your inner being, your inner wisdom, in what ways can self-honesty free me to live wholeheartedly? In what ways can self-honesty free me to live wholeheartedly? Notice how you're feeling now mentally and emotionally. And acknowledge something that your heart feels gratitude for. Once again, invite you to say your intention for this practice to yourself. And remember to whom you dedicated today's practice. And let's close chanting together. Om 3 times. Bowing in towards your heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.